G'day cocktail lovers, I'm going to give you a Halloween tip here, how to make the perfect accompaniment to a Halloween cocktail, namely a skull ice shape, but it's perfectly clear. You can get these molds lots of places, just party supply shop probably. Someone's selling Halloween supplies, there's a fair chance they have some sort of skull ice mold, and they're great, but when you use them, the ice is cloudy because the ice freezes from all directions at once and it pushes air bubbles and impurities into the middle. To get some clear ice, there's really only one way to do it. You'll get people who will say ridiculous things like, oh, filtered water or distilled water or boiled water. Some of those things may help a little with clarity, but the only way to really get clear ice is directional freezing. And there's a variety of ways to do that. Some are expensive, some take up a lot of freezer space, but really all you need is a double wall insulated coffee cup. Nearly everyone who works in an office has one of these. This is admittedly a very large one that I got deliberately for making ice for cocktails, but I just got it from a supermarket, so these are very easy to get. They don't cost a huge amount and they don't take up a lot of freezer space. There's really only one more step that you need with your skull mold and your double wall insulated coffee cup. You actually have to have directional freezing through this. And for that, you have to cut a little hole in the skull because the ice, as it freezes, has to be able to push impurities out. If you don't cut a hole in the skull, then that won't work and it will still be cloudy. Now, admittedly, you won't be able to use these any other way after this when you cut the hole in it, but this is the best way to do skull ice anyway. So what does it matter if you got to cut a little hole in the top and then you put it in the insulated coffee cup and pour in your water and put it in the freezer. Depending on the cup and your freezer, it could actually take a couple of days to freeze. You might need to experiment a little. That's why I'm putting this video up a little bit early, a couple of weeks before Halloween, to give you time to plan and experiment. One of two things will happen when you put the skull mold in your coffee cup. It will either sit right on the top and you fill it up and it'll be the first thing that comes out, or the width of the coffee cup might mean that it sinks a little way. But that's not bad because what you get then is a base. So you get a clear ice base and the skull sitting on top of it. That helps it sit up in a glass and look cool, quite honestly. And if the way you freeze your drink, it doesn't have a base naturally, it's pretty easy. You just get another piece of ice and your skull, which doesn't have a base, and you stick the skull on top of it when they're both a little bit wet, and then put that back in the freezer and the skull will freeze to the other bit of ice you've put it on. It is a good feeling when you peel that mold off the ice and you've got this beautiful, clear, sexy looking ice skull. And I'll give you one more tip. When you're putting it in a glass, actually put a little bit of water in the bottom of the glass and sit the ice there and then freeze that for a little while again. That will freeze the skull in place. If you don't do that, it'll slide up and hit you in the nose when you actually do it. But yeah, you want the full effect. You sit there. I think a red drink needs to be poured over this ice. That's a very Halloween thing. And I actually put a couple of layers of different red things on this one. And then, you know, I thought it needed extra special, so I floated some high proof rum, 75% ABV rum, and set that on fire, and a bit of a dusting of cinnamon sugar on there, and you can put on a real Halloween show, either just for yourself or your friends. Another hot tip, besides making sure the ice is stuck to the bottom of the glass so it doesn't slide up and up in your nose, use a straw. I wouldn't usually use a straw with a rocks type of glass, but this really guards against it actually sliding up and hitting you in the nose. So you can enjoy your drink with at least a little bit of dignity and not get hit in the nose with the ice. But that's my Halloween ice tip for you. I think it's really cool. Give it a go and see what you think. And have a spooky Halloween. And I hope to see you again sometime soon. Until I do see you again, I'll say cheers.